Right, we're live again.
Yeah, we are.
We're live on Live Forever Young Radio, the new incarnation, baby.
I know. I think we're going to live forever.
I think if we just keep as busy as we have been, we have no choice but
we
to
won't
live
have
forever.
time to age.
No, and especially with the products we've been taking, we won't have to age.
That's right.
Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. I am Raleigh. This is Bob, as usual. We are here on Live Forever Young Radio, brought to you by Boomer Products. That way we can share some really good information with you. Before we do, I have to say the Lightning again are going to be playing in Game 2 of the playoffs. So we're hoping that we're knowing they're going to win.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course.
So,
and they're playing tonight in Toronto.
Yep.
So for those of you who don't know, the Lightning is a professional hockey team in the National Hockey League. Call them the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa is the lightning capital of the world.
That's correct.
Unfortunately. So that's why they call them the Lightning. And they have a really great team. You wouldn't think that Florida would be a big hockey town.
Nope.
But the Lightning have won their share of Stanley Cup.
They've been in the playoffs 9 of the last 10 years and have won the Stanley Cup 2 of the last 4.
Yeah, so the Stanley Cup is a trophy that's given to the champions. So how many is there? 31 hockey teams in the
I think there's 36 now.
36 teams, and so you have to make the playoffs, which is a little less than half the teams. Then you have to beat everybody and ultimately be the champion.
Absolutely.
Which is really hard to do. There are teams that have never done it.
Yes.
And the Lightning are one of the teams that are known for being champions. And of course, we're in Tampa Bay, and so the Lightning are a big part of what we call Champa Bay,
right?
Because of the champion professional teams we have here.
Absolutely. And we are also champions for our health here at Boomer Products.
There you go.
And so being a champion of your health, you need to know certain things, right? One of the things we were going to talk about, Bob, is skincare, health, collagen, why it's important, right? A lot of people, you probably hear a lot about collagen on the TV. People talk about it on the news.
Yeah.
What's the real deal with it, though?
Well, the reason most people have heard of collagen is because it's gotten popular as everyone realized how well it works. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the human body. There's many different kinds of collagen. The vast majority of it is type 1 and type 3. And it really started to get popular around the time of 2020 when people first started getting COVID. And that increased the awareness of health and wellness dramatically because we kept hearing from these top physicians, the people that are in really good health, younger people that have been taking care of themselves, were the ones that fared well and didn't get super sick or pass away from COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so that started to get out in all throughout the media. And everybody was like, okay, now it's time for me to really take care of my health.
Yep.
And we noticed that here at Boomer Products because we have, on any given day, 4 or 5 people are answering the phones for all the calls that come in to our company.
Mm-hmm.
And we started noticing that that's what people wanted to do. What people know about collagen is a small amount, enough that they want to try it. And then, of course, they see results from it. They have their joint pain improves and their skin and their hair and their nails all improve.
Also, one of the things that I've heard and that we realized is that it's actually really good for digestion.
Yeah.
Helps with digestion a lot.
I didn't even realize that when we first started getting it for people. And we get lots and lots of testimonials, of course, in regard to all aspects of their people's health improving. And one of those that started coming in was about digestion, which was really, really great to hear. It was
an
unexpected
surprise,
yeah.
But yeah,
so we want to talk today about what's the deal about collagen, so people know more about it, and not only know more about it, but what else do you have to have that goes with it? Because in the human body, we have metabolic pathways, and we have enzymes that create these pathways. Right. So you can't just take collagen and get the maximum benefit. You can take collagen and get a good benefit, but if you want the maximum benefit, you need to add other things that we now know are complementary to the collagen that help it work better.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like when you have, if you're building something and you got bricks, you need mortar to put those bricks together, because if not, Your structure is just loose bricks. It's not going to be very strong, you know? And one of the things that we also talk about, and you kind of think to yourself, well, collagen, why do we need to even take collagen? Well, a lot of people don't realize, like, as you get older, you stop making collagen. You know, the collagen production slows down, just like with many other things. Antioxidants, you don't make as much of when you get older. Those are the things that lead to aging. Collagen, you don't make as much of. That leads to, you know, skin quality not being as good. Digestive enzymes are another thing that stop being produced as much. That makes digestion not good, so you're not getting all the nutrients that you need. But where I'm going with this is, you know, on top of us not making collagen naturally, our diet is a lot different than what it was before the Industrial Revolution. You know, all the collagen is in things from meat products, the grizzly pieces, you know, the tendons and the bone marrow and obviously we're not going to eat the bones, but bones, obviously.
We used to make soup from that and stuff.
Right. I was just to say, but we would not waste. You know, if you're living on a farm, you got one cow, you're going to use every piece of the cow, right? And so when we had a diet where we were eating more of those type of pieces of meat, collagen was also a little bit more abundant in our diets, right? But during Industrial Revolution, and, you know, we don't want to be chewing on something and having a stringy piece of meat, you know, so out of convenience, we kind of eliminated that from our diet kind of unknowingly. So these are some reasons why collagen supplementation gets more necessary, especially as you get older.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. As you get older, so collagen is created in your body from your genetic code. So there's code in your genome that says, okay, collagen is made up of these components.
Right.
And that code is wrapped up and sequestered in a protein sheath. But there are activators that open up that sheath. Now your RNA can copy it and go out into the cell and say, hey, we need some peptides, amino acids, we need some metabolic enzymes and some vitamin C to fasten together this collagen so it can be used for your skin, your hair, your nails, and your joints. And so it's important that you have adequate supply of the substrates, the building blocks that make that collagen. And as we get older, we make less and less collagen. Some of it's because we don't make as much of the metabolic enzymes that are needed. Right. And so what we want to do in order to have maximum benefit is you want to take the collagen peptides, right, which we have. You also want the metabolic enzymes that fasten it together, which are in the product called heirloom barley. And you also want vitamin C. Vitamin C is also part of collagen synthesis.
This is what we would call a supplement stack, right? Because each one of these is great on their own, but when their powers combine, they are Captain Planet. Well, not really. They are Captain Collagen or whatever.
Captain Collagen,
right? Yeah, we remember that cartoon.
Yeah.
All my 80s babies and 90s childs.
Yeah, so this is a game changer, really, because you don't have other companies. Some companies will give you vitamin C with the collagen, but there isn't anybody giving you metabolic enzymes.
Right.
And partly because it's hard to get metabolic enzymes, and if you can, it tends to be pretty expensive. We're fortunate that there's a scientist that makes our sprouted barley seeds for us from an heirloom seed. And during that sprouting process, metabolic enzymes are created. He's able to stabilize them so they last for a long time. And then he grinds up these sprouts into a fine powder and sends it to us in these jars, these half-pound jars.
Yeah.
And so easy to transport. You can mix it with the collagen powder.
Yep, they're both powders.
You can put the powders together, take a couple of the vitamin C pills, and now you have this powerhouse combination. And that's why it works better, is because everything that's needed for the entire metabolic process of the creation of collagen is now available. When you drink the drink, it's going into your stomach, your small intestine. It's getting absorbed by the villi in the small intestine. If you're young enough to have good villi,
right,
and then you're able to quickly and easily make collagen.
Now the villi are the things that help absorb the nutrients. And another thing that happens as you get older, right? A plaque starts to form and smother them out. so they can't do their job as well, right? So that's one of the things that the barley can help do, is with the SOD in there, it can actually help to cleanse that and revitalize them because of the glucosamine.
Yes, exactly. So normally there's mucus in your small intestine that's in between the villi.
Right.
As you get older, it turns to a plaque and smothers them. And so you have to have something to dissolve the plaque and regrow the villi. Fortunately, in addition to the metabolic enzymes that are in the sprouted seeds, there's a compound that there's two compounds that take care of that issue. So now, if you're an older person, say older than 35 years old, you already are starting to have diminished absorption of nutrients. But now we know that at any age, doesn't matter, we have customers 100 years old, at any age, you can make your villi restored and begin to absorb nutrients really well again. So this is a great 1-2 punch, so to speak.
Really
you have
is.
the availability of the nutrients, and now you can absorb them too, because you're taking the collagen with your barley. That's a big, big advantage, because you can take all the collagen in the world, but if you're only absorbing 10 or 15% of it, that's all you're ever going to get.
Exactly.
Coupled with the barley, you'll be able to absorb 95% of it.
Yeah, one of the things that people don't really realize is how important nutrient absorption is, because you think about it, if you can't absorb but 30% of what you're taking in, you're going to be malnourished no matter how well you're eating. Right. You could eat the best organic food or the most vitaminized, supplementized supplements in the world, but if you can't absorb and utilize, you're not getting no benefits.
True. Yeah. You also need to be able to circulate the nutrients. So the nutrients, once they're absorbed, they're in your bloodstream, they're in your blood plasma, okay? And they need to get circulated to the far reaches of your body. Human beings are big mammals.
Yes,
we're tall. We're 6 feet tall, 5 feet, 6 feet, some people 7 feet tall. And your heart has to be able to pump nutrients, and your capillaries have to be able to expand and contract. And one of the things that damages people's circulation is excessive inflammation.
Yes, we talk about inflammation a lot.
Right. And so if you have excessive inflammation, which a lot of people do, almost everyone, as a matter of fact, what happens is it damages the tissues in your body, including your nerves. Right. And when your nerves start to get damaged, and this is why you see people with diabetes get this nerve damage and peripheral neuropathy. It's because they have higher inflammation because of excess sugar, and the nerves start to degrade, and the nerves have to fire to contract the muscles to allow the capillaries to expand and contract. And so people's circulation drops off because of excessive inflammation.
Now, we were talking about this. I think we were talking about it on another podcast, and I mistakenly said that the heart pumps blood to 75% of the periphery, but it's actually 25%.
Right.
And that other 75% is through the vasodilation and the movement, undulation of the veins from the actual natural flow.
The arteries, and most of your circulatory system is actually capillaries, which are microscopic.
There you go.
Yeah, you can't actually see them. They're so small.
So it's important to keep those pliable. And one of the things collagen does is it keeps those cell walls nice and pliable.
Yeah.
Right? So then that way you can have that nice undulation instead of stiff, rigid capillaries that won't push the blood through.
Yes. And so the reason we bring up the inflammation part is when you use sprouted barley seeds that have been nutrient stabilized, there's a tremendous amount of SOD. So SOD is superoxide dismutase, which is an enzyme of sorts that is an antioxidant, meaning if you have a lot of inflammation and you have the molecules of inflammation like superoxide, your body makes compounds to counteract them, to neutralize them so you don't burn yourself up too fast. So SOD being the main one. And
guess what? You stop making that as you get older as well.
Make less and less, just like with the collagen.
Exactly.
So now your inflammation goes up and your amount of collagen goes down. And that's why
your digestion goes down,
get wrinkly and get crumbly,
and
as
it's hard to
time
repair.
goes by.
You can't repair as well because
Very
you
hard.
don't have what you need, really.
Very hard to repair. And so again, the SOD, we talked about, it helps with the plaque, but it's also the main antioxidant for the human body.
Right.
And because we're making less of it, well, guess what? Now we can take it in by mouth.
Right.
How much are we taking in by mouth? A tremendous amount, because the product is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just talking to a gentleman on the phone this morning,
Yep.
who's stopping by the health food store Earth Origins on his way to meet up with us, and he stops to get a couple of shots of wheatgrass.
Yep, in the morning.
And thinking this is really good for him. Those shots of wheatgrass are extremely good for you,
Mm-hmm.
but they're only 1/400th the strength of this barley.
Right.
Okay.
Why? Because of the sprouts. It's not the grass, right? So when the sprouts metamorph into grass, they use those enzymes and all the good stuff in the seeds to make the grass.
Yeah.
But when you just start the sprouting process, it opens the seed up and it starts to let those beautiful nutrients out. But then you arrest the creation of the grass, so those nutrients are still in here. And then you dry them out.
Right.
You stabilize them.
Yeah.
And then you eat them, and you get 400 times the nutrition you would get from grass.
And
It's not simple, but in theory.
Yeah. So there's a lot of companies that sell barley grass.
Yeah.
A lot of companies sell wheatgrass. You can go to the health food store, get shots of wheatgrass. It's all very well and good. But when you take this barley, you have to start very, very small. It comes with a tiny scoop because it is that strong, and you can't take a full dose of it. You couldn't take the equivalent of a wheatgrass shot of it.
No.
You can only use a half a teaspoon of the powder, little tiny scoop, mix it up with your collagen, and then after a week, and only after a week, can you increase the amount of the barley.
Right.
You don't want to overtax your kidneys and your liver, because your body's going to detox.
Right.
And that's another huge benefit of this 3-pack over just buying some collagen that might have vitamin C in it. It's also going to detoxify your body, which is another huge contributor to aging.
Right.
And unhealthy aging.
Right. I mean, when we talk about inflammation, I always refer to it as the silent killer, right? It's always not always, but a majority of the times the predecessor to the things like diabetes, blood pressure problems, all these things that later on in life become a real issue, right? Mm-hmm. And then especially when you compare it with, combine it with maybe some lifestyle choices that you're making that might speed up that burning process we go through as our bodies age. That's what's going to make you age faster. So these things can help to slow that down, the antioxidants, and rebuild with things like proteins and metabolic enzymes and things like that. So we want to rebuild faster than we burn, right? Because once we're doing that, we're de-aging, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. And this will help you do that, because if you can slow your rate of burn with the superoxide dismutase and increase your rate of repair, because now you have peptides, amino acids, and metabolic enzymes, and vitamin C, it's a tremendous difference. You go from aging to de-aging, and we've watched this happen, right? Like with Larry Dodlin.
Oh yeah, no, we've got lots of reviews from people that say they feel like they felt when 30 years ago, 40 years ago, some people put on the reviews, which is really crazy. And just a quick aside, you see things people sell and stuff like that, and you see the reviews, but when you work for a company and you get these things that come in and you actually know you've spoken to that person on the phone, or better yet, sometimes they call back on the phone and tell us this stuff. It's actually pretty fun.
Yeah,
it makes it a lot of fun.
It's great. And some of the podcasts we appear on as a guest, we'll read their testimonials out loud. And I've had people say to me on the phone, my goal is for you to read my testimonial on this podcast.
I've heard that.
It's great.
I actually had someone.
It's great. It's like, well, that's a great goal.
I want to be a testimonial,
because you're going to have to get better, and you're going to have to de-age, and you're going to have to show us.
It's a good it's a good thing to go through to get the testimonial.
And people send us their pictures.
Yes, actually. Yeah. We have a lot of pictures from people, and it's great to see people's faces. And that's another reason why we're doing this live. I know I mentioned live in the beginning, but for those of you who are kind of joining us or just watching us on the replay, if you want to catch us live and interact on the chat, you can actually join in on Facebook at Live Forever Young Radio or Boomer Wellness Network on Facebook. Those are 2 pages that you can find us live. And if you're more of a YouTube person, you can find us on YouTube at Boomers Forever Young. That's the channel we stream live on. Normally we're on TikTok. I didn't do TikTok today. Well, lots of T's. I didn't do TikTok today because we kind of covered this topic on TikTok before.
Yeah.
And I've got some information up about that on our website at boomerboost.com. If you guys go to boomerboost.com, we have a podcast called The Real Deal on Collagen. It's really great information. It goes over a lot of what we're going over here, but we also didn't have this combo formed when we had that podcast.
We also have one on barley.
Right, and we have one called the magic of the amazing benefits of sprouted barley, I think is what it's called, or the power of sprouted barley. That's what it's called. Search that one up because it really gives you some details on that.
In the search bar, just put in barley, and you'll see the podcast will pop up.
Yeah, well, you'll also get some of the products.
Yeah.
So, obviously the products are the products, but the podcast is there, and it's definitely something you guys should check out. But yeah, one of the things we might be doing, Bob, I don't know if we want to tell them now, but we actually might be showing up on terrestrial radio, on Radio St. Pete 96.7. It's a local radio show.
Yeah.
And Saturday from about 12:15 to 12:30 should be me and Bob on live. We're going to be talking to Mike Rickard of Sports Connection, from peewees to professionals to pros. He covers all the local sports in the area, and we're really excited to go on it. So if anybody here is watching and you guys love radio or live terrestrial radio and you're in the area, check out us on 96.7. It's called Sports Connection Radio.
Yeah,
St.
and if
Pete
you're in
Sports
town,
Connection.
if you're from St. Pete, which a lot of our customers are, come down to Ferg's around 12 o'clock and we'll say hello.
Yeah, Ferg's right off of Central, right next to the Trop. The game starts at 4:10, so you might as well come and hang out with us for a little bit before you go. We'll be there from, probably about 12:15 to 12:45 is when we're going to be on the show, and then we'll hang out with some people if you guys come and say hi. But we're really looking forward to that. It'll be exciting. It's a good opportunity.
No baseball game tonight.
No, the game's 4:10 on Saturday. That's what I'm saying. Come before.
But there's no game tonight. No Tampa Bay Rays baseball tonight. That's an off day.
Yes, finally.
Which is fine because the Lightning play tonight.
Yes, don't forget.
Right.
We got to
So a lot of people
Thunder.
come down to Ferg's to watch the Lightning on TV down there.
Oh yeah.
And then of course on Friday and Sunday, the Rays are home.
Yes.
Playing the White Sox.
Yes.
And
another 3
should
wins.
be great. The White Sox have a really, really good team. A lot of very good players on the White Sox. Be fun to see some of those players, and also, of course, to see the Rays, continue their overall first place.
Their dominance. Let's use the real word here, man.
Yeah.
Their dominance.
So the Rays tied a modern day record of the most games won in a row at the beginning of the season, 13.
Yep. But their run differential in that was 71, which has never been done in the history.
And in the last 2 days,
games.
they added 18 runs to their run differential.
And shut out the teams
10
twice.
to nothing and 8-0. It's an amazing thing for a small market team, but we will be down there at Ferg's on the radio, on air on Saturday.
So be there. Show up. Check it out if you can. And if you can't be there, listen to us. 96.7 Radio St. Pete. But we actually are looking at a couple more things about anti-aging, right? We were going to go into a little bit about anti-aging, and we were going to talk about some of the things that these products do with the anti-aging. Mainly with anti-aging, as we were talking, you've got antioxidants, right? Well, one of the things that people don't think about is exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Staying active, making sure your muscles don't start to waste away, because one of the things that they talk about as you age, just like all this other stuff stops being created, your muscle mass severely goes down, right?
Yeah. And as that happens, your bones start to get brittle.
Correct.
And they go together. If your bones get weak, your muscles get weak, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we know that if you have the right amino acids with the metabolic enzymes and the right antioxidants, you are not going to get either weak bones or weak muscles.
Nope.
Right? I mean, you think about back in the time of the Gladiators, there was a documentary recently called The Game Changer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about diet, exercise, nutrition, and how people are becoming superhuman athletes using modern day nutrition.
Yeah.
And one of the segments was about the gladiators and how when they unearthed their bones that had been there for 2,000 years in these archaeological digs, their bones were still as hard as steel.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew that these gladiators were eating sprouted barley seeds.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is a lot of the times they ate this not because it was what they chose, but it's what they decided to feed them. Gladiators were treated a lot not like slaves, but they were kind of like, you know, they were kind of the people that were just, hey, your entertainment purposes only, you know, so this is what you get
And
to
they
eat.
wanted them to be very strong. They wanted them to have strong bones and strong muscles, and they were legendary. And so we now have the technology to recreate that diet that the gladiators ate. And so,
You know, a lot of people ask me, like, how does that seed line go back that far? And that was something that I always wondered about. And then I asked the gentleman who does it. They have seed banks.
Yeah.
Seed banks that have stored these seeds over centuries, right?
Yep.
And then you're able to actually revitalize it. It's funny because I talked to the gentleman who does our barley about that years ago. And then just on the news yesterday, they were talking about seed banks and how they're using the seeds in these seed banks to help repopulate the areas down in Fort Myers. There is a specific plant that only grew in that one of those areas that got hit real hard by the hurricanes.
Yep.
And it's like kind of necessary for that ecosystem, but it was gone. But in the seed bank, they had some sprouts of it. So that once everything gets built back up, they're going to go replant them in the areas that they used to be in.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of way that things from centuries ago or things that necessarily might have been gone are still around. Thanks to the scientists.
And the scientist that works with us, one of his claims to fame is being able to sprout seeds that nobody else can sprout.
Absolutely.
He has some special technology that he won't really tell anybody about.
I wouldn't.
But we've seen a video of him actually hold seeds in his hand and spritz them, and they sprout right before your eyes.
Yep. That's how he's able to do it.
So when he brings the seeds from the barley harvest into his plant, every seed, millions of them, will sprout within 2 minutes of each other.
Crazy.
Like a science fiction movie.
It's crazy.
And that's very important to do because you don't want a sprout that sprouted today and then some 4 hours later and then some tomorrow, because as the sprout moves along its process, the nutritional value of it changes.
Yep.
And so you want every sprout on the same path at the same time. So when you stop all the sprouts from sprouting with another technology, they all contain the same nutritional value.
And that's really important. It's called consistency, right? Because one of the things about wheatgrass and stuff like that that's kind of done naturally is, like you said, one might have sprouted 4 hours ago, one might have sprouted a day ago. And so that consistent nutritional profile isn't there. But one of the amazing things that the process that our scientist knows is the ability to halt that at the right amount of time and then make sure that the profile of the nutrients is actually suitable for humans. Because if you let it maybe go too long, it might be too much protein for a human and it might be more suitable for a different type of an animal.
Yeah, and he does stop the sprouts at varying places because he does sell the product for feed for animals.
Actually, yeah.
Horses and chickens, but it's not the same time when he stops the sprouts for humans. And so it's very important, and it's good to have consistency, because if you have a nutrition product that's going to be credible where it actually works, it has to be consistent.
Right.
So the only thing that's inconsistent is every year it gets better.
That's so true. Actually, you want to drop the bomb? We're getting some stronger barley.
Yeah.
In about what, a month and a half, our
Yeah.
maybe 2 months, our new barley shipment's coming in, and it's going to be even stronger.
Yeah.
And when we say stronger, we mean that the actual growing process has improved so much that the yield from these plants is, what is it, 5 times?
No, it's like this. So when you put seeds into a bushel, it weighs a certain amount. They call it a bushel weight.
There you go.
Right. And so what's happened this past harvest was, because of a new organic fertilizer, they've been put in for 2 years.
Mhm.
The seeds, there's a lot more seeds on each plant, but in addition, they're bigger and they're denser.
Denser nutrition.
They're more dense with nutrition. And so when you fill up a bushel,
It weighs
seeds,
more.
It weighs more because it's like you're putting lead pellets in there instead of light seeds, right?
That's awesome.
And so the bushel weight went up by 30%.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are on the current barley and the new barley comes to you in about 2 months and you notice that you're feeling even stronger, it's not a placebo.
Right.
It's stronger barley.
So if you start to have the ability to take off and fly like you have a jetpack on your back, then you know you've become superhuman, right?
And it's working.
And
that's how you can tell if it's working, is when you start to fly.
Yeah, we're going to take some videos of Raleigh flying on the new barley. We're going to send them to the grower. We're going to say, good job.
It works. Anyway, guys, so listen, we have a guest showing up here very shortly. So we're probably going to end our live a little bit before noon, right? But before we do, did you have anything else you wanted to go over with them?
Yeah, I think that, nutrition is one of the biggest aspects of anti-aging.
Right.
But there's a couple other things. One is stress management.
Yes.
And we always say you can have the best nutrition in the world, but if you're under stress, you're probably still going to be sick. So give them a couple of podcasts they can see in regard to that.
So absolutely. We've actually seen it with people who have tried our products and said, oh, these things don't work. And then one of the good things about us is we are available by phone. And so sometimes, a lot of the times, the people who have issues with the products maybe not working, they call, and we're able to actually lend some time to them and find that it's not necessarily a physical thing. It's a stress thing that's caused a physical thing. And so we've got some really good podcasts that you want to check out. We just have a brand new one with Hillary Russo. She's an amazing holistic health coach. She's a Havening practitioner. It's called Hug It Out with Hillary. That's our most recent podcast, and it'll give you some great techniques to help calm anxiety, reduce stress, handle the everyday things that may make you fly off the handle normally. We've also got some really good ones called the tapping, EFT, the power of tapping, right? The emotional freedom technique, which is a technique you can use to reset belief systems, help bring in the good chi, and connect the bad, take away the bad chi strain and put in the good chi, right? That's another great technique. We have a podcast on at boomerboost.com, or we're on iHeartRadio, all the big ones, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, all that stuff. We're all on that.
Yep. And then we also have a podcast called Achieving Inner Balance.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really great. And then in addition to that, there's one other thing, which is an issue of aging that's just a general psychological aspect of it. So when a child gets to be about 5 or 6 years old, they begin to perceive impermanence. So they're like, okay, I'm 5, my brother's 10, my sister's 20, mom and dad are 40, grandma is 65, and great grandma just died. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an unconscious observation. We refer to it as a collective nocebo. A nocebo is something that's happening, but there doesn't seem to be an apparent reason for, like a placebo. Placebo is something good that's happening for no good reason. But a nocebo is something that you don't want that's happening for an unseen reason.
We got Marlon that just chimed in here.
Marlon Mueller. Hi, Marlon.
Marlon's on here, says, I really enjoy listening to Bob's wisdom and I take his products. Thanks, Marlon. We appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, this is something new we're doing. So if you get a chance to join us live, you can actually ask some questions in the chat, and that goes for anybody else in here. And when I get them up, I'll always highlight the ones I get.
That's great. That's great. So, Marlon, this one's for you, buddy.
There you go.
Here's this technique that will help you with this issue of aging. Because when your unconscious mind sees humans aging and it goes, that's what I'm supposed to do, it creates this premature cognitive commitment, this collective nocebo, and sure enough, you age too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you want to do away with that, if you want to choose to not have that be part of your life, there's a technique that you can do where you can have a talk with all of your internal organs and your glands, okay? And you can sit quietly. You can go to our website and find a technique, a YouTube video It's called the Ultimate Mind Calming Exercise.
Yep.
So referred to as head circles. You can do these head circles, and what will happen is your mind will go blank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you want to have a preset plan that you're going to do from this state of no mind,
Mm-hmm.
because when you do something when you're in a state of no mind, it's really coming from your higher self and it's more powerful.
Right.
So as you do this head circle and you get quiet, you can then cross your hands across your heart, close your eyes, and just have a talk with your thymus, your heart chakra, and you can say, hey, listen, thymus and all of my other endocrine glands and my internal organs that are contributing to this collective nocebo. Thank you very much for doing what you've done so far, keeping me alive. I really treasure this body. So now you can hear you're talking from a third party, your higher self. Thank you for doing what you've done, but I just want to let you know that starting today, we're no longer going to participate in this nocebo of aging. You don't have to have me age along the way everybody else is that I'm looking at, of course, except for Bob and Raleigh, who have stopped aging, and other people using our products that know about the collective nocebo. We've talked about this before.
We have. It's very important.
And then give thanks and gratitude again for everything your body has done to keep you alive, and for agreeing to no longer participate in this nocebo.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're free from it.
Yes.
Right? If you have to repeat it, once a month, just to make sure it doesn't slide back to the old way.
Yep.
Go ahead and repeat it.
Yeah, and what you're doing here is something that involves a lot of things: the neurolinguistics, future pacing, again, disconnecting a certain belief or a chi and replacing it with another one. These are all techniques that we talk about on a lot of our podcasts. We're all about self-improvement, holistic health and wellness, total body wellness. Like, supplements are great, like we said, but if you're under stress, I could give you everything in the world and it won't help you. And we've talked to people like that. Mm-hmm. And one of the best things we've done for some people is help them understand that. And then we also, have some resources like the Upledger Institute, where you can find things like special therapies like craniosacral therapy that helps you go back on time. It's kind of like timeline therapy a little bit. Things like that help you discover some of the things that you may have been suppressing and deal with the stress that causes.
Somato-emotional release.
There's that too. Somato-emotional release, which we did a show on. It's called Beyond Massage Therapy. So if you guys check that out, that's actually one of our most recent ones. We did one on the benefits of massage therapy, but then the second episode was Beyond Massage Therapy, other techniques like what we're talking about here, somato-emotional, craniosacral, those type of things, and how they can help to address those stresses and things that you've been carrying with you for years.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody who came in on the chat. Thanks, Marlon, for chiming in. Great to know you're watching. We just look forward to doing the next one, maybe next Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. Like I said, you guys, Tuesday, Thursdays, 11 a.m. EST, Bob and I will be here to hang out. We've got people. We could talk to you guys in the chats. If you have some topics you might want us to address, we can do that as well. But we look forward to the next time. And what you can do is, if you missed this, there will be a replay sitting there on our YouTube and our Facebook pages. So please check it out.
And if you want to talk to us on the phone, just hit boomerboost.com. 800 numbers down at the bottom, 800-861-4609.
Yep, that's right.
Call on the phone. You'll get Lucy on the phone, or Stephanie, or Gene.
Gene, I think it's a machine.
Ann was here late last night talking to people about barley.
There you go.
And give us a call if you have any questions about your health and any of our products. You start looking through our website, boomerboost.com, and you have a question, you can actually just pick up the phone and we'll talk to you about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have live people here in the United States. They all live right where we are here.
Yes.
And some of them are
passionate. They're all passionate about help.
Very passionate, and of varying ages.
Yes.
Going from about 60 to 86.
Yes.
So we have two men that are 86 years old that work for us, one full-time, one part-time. If you ever buy our products and you get a phone call from Jim Lee.
Yes.
Jim Lee is a very interesting man who was the author of the book called Palmetto Sunrise.
Palmetto Sunrise, a
And
Florida story.
Florida story. And Jim was a guide for hunting and fishing.
Yep.
In Florida. And now he is a nutritionist extraordinaire
And an amazing
and
man.
an amazing life coach.
Yes, he is.
And
He's a great guy.
He'll give you a call to make sure you're doing okay.
Yes. So if you get a call from him, that's Mr. Jim Lee. And we're here for you guys. Stay happy and live healthy. And we'll see you guys on the next show.